Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'd like to start with a brief and selective history of the Theses Canada program. We've been around for almost 55 years, having started in 1965 with a handful of universities. The goal from the start was both to preserve and provide centralized access to theses and dissertations from Canadian universities. More universities joined over the years, and in the 90s, we started adding digital copies to our microfilm collection. In 2003, an OAI harvester was developed at LAC to acquire metadata and full-text theses files directly from university institutional repositories and make them available through a Theses Canada portal. In 2014, we transitioned to a digital-only acquisition model and ended our service contract with ProQuest. Unfortunately, in 2016, we suspended harvesting due to problems with the old system. It's been a bit of a rocky road since then, and I'd hoped that by now I would be standing here saying that we had already officially started harvesting. However, we will be harvesting again soon. Rather than custom building new systems in-house, as in the past, LAC decided to acquire commercial systems to replace the old ones. So over the past 2-3 years, we've bought licenses for Go Anywhere Managed File Transfer, for Preservica, and for OCLC World Share Management Services. The new Theses Canada harvesting procedures are based on all three systems. The first step in our harvesting workflow is determining what we're going to harvest. We contacted every university in the program to verify their repository URLs, their set names, and their metadata formats. This info all goes into an Excel sheet that the harvester reads. We asked the universities to provide ETDMS metadata, which is essentially Dublin Core modified with 4 extra fields for the degree information. The harvesting workflow was built in Go Anywhere. We set the harvest parameters in this simple interface that you see at the bottom of the screen, specifying the dates, the location of the Excel spreadsheet, and the row or the range of rows on the spreadsheet that we want to harvest. Aside from harvesting the metadata, we've developed a fairly extensive workflow in Go Anywhere composed of 14 different modules. The image on this slide is a little snippet of the Harvest Resource Files module, which goes and gets the PDFs and the other files that may be associated with the thesis. The workflow will transform the ETDMS metadata into MODS records, package up the metadata and the files together, one thesis per folder, and send them over to Preservica. It also identifies errors like duplicates, missing author names, or invalid URLs, and produces reports with the details and statistics that we can send to the universities. Go Anywhere automatically triggers the Preservica ingest workflow and transfers the folders into a review area where our staff perform a few quality checks, read the error reports, and if things look good, then they move the folders into the permanent collection area of Preservica. These error reports and review procedures are a big improvement on our old harvester, which had little in the way of quality assurance. The metadata ends up going through a couple of transformations. We create a MODS record first because MODS was selected as the common standard for everything in Preservica, which we will eventually use for all of LAC's digital collections. So we convert the ETDMS to MODS and later the MODS to MARC for the library catalog. This work is still underway. We're working closely with our cataloging team to make sure the records are good enough to go through without any manual checks. Once the records are in the library catalog, the Theses Canada search portal will be automatically updated as well. And there's a little image of the new look of our search portal on the screen. Okay. Challenges. We've learned a lot along the way. Due to staff turnover, this was new terrain for everyone working on the project, from senior management and IT all the way down to me. Although most universities use DSpace, ePrints, or Islandora, each repository had its quirks. For example, Brock and UBC were the only ones who seemed to require the entire date and time in the date parameter, or it wouldn't work. Carleton had no set names, so we added a new module to the workflow to deal with that. A few repositories would return a security certificate error until we learned that we had to download a certificate from their repository website. Why only we needed to do that for a few and not others, I don't know, but we learned as we went. But the biggest challenge has been downloading the thesis files. OAI-PMH is a protocol for metadata harvesting, so it's relatively easy to get the metadata. The files are a different story. We're asking universities to include URLs in their metadata that point directly to the files with a file extension so that the Go Anywhere workflow can follow them to the files. Some universities have been unable to do this, and we may need to look at different procedures for them. We're also trying to work out problems that occur when there are spaces or special characters in the URLs. And we're always trying to judge what we can modify and what we can reasonably ask the universities to modify. There has to be some consistency in what we're trying to do, what we're trying to harvest rather, or it just becomes an impossible task. However, we also want to bring as many universities on board as possible, so if we can fix something on our end to make that happen, we'll do it. Looking ahead, LAC remains strongly committed to this program. We think what we've developed is good and, more importantly, sustainable. We have plans in place for reharvesting the repositories, to identify duplicates with our current collection, migrate what's missing from that current collection into Preservica. Once the final pieces fall into place with the MARC transformation and the library catalog, we'll be able to harvest, preserve, and provide access to more universities' theses than we ever have before. It's taken a while, but I honestly believe we are almost there. Thanks very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, please get in touch. Okay.